It is not going well. Oh, they're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, no. He's been talking about us.
Not about you. Why has it got to be about you? I made my own show called Transformers After Dark.
Yeah, Transformers Perversion.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your weekly podcast that delivers a minute-by-minute breakdown of the 1986 Transformers movie. Today is episode 16. We're covering 1501 to the 16-minute mark, and joining me on my podcast...
Whoa. It's been annexed.
Joining me on the podcast are my cybernetic compadres, my bionic buddies, my robo-migos, Caleb and Ryan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Caleb.
There we go. It all checks out.
Yeah.
Right. I just wanted to start off the top of the podcast with some thanks, as we decided we would start doing
yeah, good,
on
because
a
I
more
completely forgot to
regular
write anything down.
basis. Hey, that's okay. I got it handled. iTunes reviewers, first of all, we got a review. This is a fun one. Question mark? So first up is a review, an interesting review by the 85 Bears Rule 76.
Which is an amazing name.
And on itself, the headline is Blue Harvest. And the comment on iTunes is, what we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. I don't like it any more than you, man. So, I don't know why the famous captain speech from Cool Hand Luke was left as a review.
It's amazing.
If a review in itself can be a non sequitur, this is it. But
Buddy gave us
5 stars, that's right. You can
five
write whatever
stars,
you want.
5 stars
I
is
don't
what
care.
matters.
If you
I
give us
say
5
you can quote whatever movie you want. Blue Harvest. Do we know what that means?
Blue Velvet.
I don't know what Blue Harvest
So it's
needs.
you can give us 5 stars and type. You can type basically whatever you want.
Yeah.
Give us 5 stars.
You can talk about Caleb's mother if you'd like.
Let's not go
5
there.
stars.
No. See,
Now I know what my
open the
review's
door.
gonna say.
I opened the door to.
You fucked up.
Yeah.
So, and also we got
Unless you're
another
complimenting my mother as saying she's a very nice woman.
great cook.
Good titties. We got there.
This has been
I said I wasn't going to say anything sexual, and I almost immediately did.
Well, it's hard for you not to. That's pretty much your go-to.
Next up is Michael Ordway, who headlined Great Stuff, 5 stars. Very entertaining and full of trivia and in-depth commentary. They talk about everything from voice actors to animation studios and get super in-depth about all of it. And Mr. Mike is an editor over at Transmission.
Oh,
so thank you for listening, and we'll keep trying to do good stuff. Pizza Toss, God dang it. Pizza Toss and Michael Andrews, at Michael Andrews at Twitter. So thank you for the encouragement. On our Shut the Fuck Up t-shirt idea. As soon as we prove that there's a market for this, we will definitely produce these. Pizza Tossin' Mike Andrews, if you can help us get our Twitter followership up to, I don't know, at least 300, then maybe we can talk.
Tasking him with that.
That's a
I'm just saying, help us out, we'll help you out. Help us get this thing up to 300. Free t-shirts in it for you, buddy. We'll define the parameters of this work later.
We'll take that offline.
Part-time Hillary Swank impersonator Luke Owen at This Is Luke Owen. Thank you for the great discussion and input. Luke is a blogger and podcaster who has a great article on the production history of Transformers the movie. I certainly may nick from that in the future. But great dialogue on Twitter with him. Thank you for your encouragement and listening to the show. So those are our shout-outs.
All right.
You guys got any other ones?
I have, as I previously mentioned, completely forgot to write anything down about that.
All right. Our last episode. So, quick recap. We learned that the Autobots meticulously designed each entry on Metroplex to have 2 doors. That's handy.
Well,
Yep.
at least one.
So
maybe we don't know if it was.
At least
Well, there's
one
one
entryway
entrance, yeah.
had 2 doors.
Yes.
Why not? Why just that one? They knew that was their weak point.
Well, we don't. I'm just saying.
We don't have the schematics.
We don't know.
For all we know, there's like 10 more doors behind. It's just a hallway of doors.
Like another door.
We found out that Shockwave actually fought the Autobots on Earth before whisking himself back to Cybertron to battle Unicron. He's a go-getter. He's looking for friends. He's lonely.
He is a very sad individual.
And we learned that the Predacons almost made the movie, only as mechanical slave beasts that fought for the Autobots and ultimately combined into a dragon.
That's right.
A really dumb-looking dragon.
It did not. It looked very B-team. Like, it was not a great-looking design. I don't know.
It reminded me of kind of the design of like even like the Sharkticons and kind of going in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, Floro Derry's some of like his designs for movie and post movie were very curvy and like a lot of weird angles.
I think he liked H.R. Geiger.
He also seemed to love fat guys because all of his designs are like the Sharkticons are big, just basically big oval guys. And I looked up a bunch of his other designs, and there's a lot of just like rotund-looking robots.
I like his designs.
I do too.
I mean, honestly, he, as I recall, simplified most all the character designs at one point or another.
Yep.
And for the movie stuff, they're very intricate. But anyway, shout out to Floro Derry.
Yeah.
But that beast was ridiculous.
They're not all winners. Yeah. Now we see why it didn't make the cut.
So, okay, to the top of this minute, we've got Blaster in the first 8 seconds or so transmitting a message, plea for help to Optimus Prime.
Decepticons are blitzing Autobot City. That's all.
Not much to say about that. Okay, he's transmitting. I like how to show transmitting, they just kind of zoom out. Here's the thing. Here's the world.
That's right.
The transmission is leaving.
Why didn't they?
Stratosphere.
It's like, well, in other cartoons to depict that, usually you have like waves, like
audio visuals.
Yes.
So then you see a great shot of what I presume to be all the Decepticons attacking the city,
They're
shooting
shooting
at the
a
walls.
couple of figures up towards the top that I can't tell who they are because of the fade.
Yeah, I just noticed that. You got
too.
2. Why aren't they just all up there? Those 2.
I don't know if those are Decepticons or not.
I think those are Decepticons.
That seems
looks like a Seeker
risky.
right there. It looks like a Seeker and a Constructicon.
Okay, that's
I'm going to
strange.
say Mixmaster, and I don't know which Seeker. It's Skywarp. Skywarp and Mixmaster.
Okay.
I always get
guess.
Skywarp and Thundercracker mixed up.
So they're shooting at the base.
They're shooting at the base, and somehow they hear the transmission. I don't know if they're just tuned into all
guess.
signals at once. I don't really know how to do that. But
Or-
I'm not a military guy.
I think he just spots the observation, the communications tower, because it's out there in the middle of it's up there on top. It's just like a glass dome. It's highly visible. There's all the guns. Look at this.
That's true.
They are shooting.
1511.
Yeah.
Or
So the
1511.
Decepticons are shooting at the base, and I want you to look at all of those guns and how many of those are trained on the Decepticons and shooting at them.
I mean, 0.
Yeah.
But, they're for air support, perhaps. Maybe they can't shoot at the ground. I don't know.
That would be a technical oversight, I would think, when
just-
building a base.
I'm sure that Wheeljack designed this place.
I mean, these are just 4 of 400 guns that this facility has.
I count 7 guns in that picture, and none of them are shooting at anything at all.
So, Megatron commands Soundwave. Oh, well, actually, one more thing before we get into that. Megatron commands Soundwave to jam the transmission.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be I'm not a military guy. Wouldn't that be one of the first things you do?
Yeah.
Is take out communications?
As I mentioned in an earlier episode, and this didn't occur to me until we started watching this movie as an adult, of they don't appear to have any military strategy whatsoever. It's just everybody just willy-nilly doing their own thing. I mean, this is the most we've seen so far, where Megatron has all his troops in one area, which again doesn't seem wise. But
I know that we're picking this apart from an adult standpoint.
Sure.
So
I don't know any other way to do it.
I know, but what I'm trying to think is questioning why didn't they do it this way or that way. I'm trying to imagine what my 8-year-old self would think of this movie if it was scripted the way that I wanted it scripted as an adult, and if I would find it as entertaining.
Right.
Probably
not. Yeah, I mean, that's true. There are a lot of things just done for visual effect and simplification.
Yeah.
I can see Flint Dilley and Nelson Shin and what's the main right? Ron Friedman, all just listening to this saying, "Why don't you try and write a cartoon movie?"
I will
dickheads.
say this, that I have been harsh on the first draft of Ron Friedman's script, but I should point out that almost across the board, first drafts of anything are usually pretty terrible, and it's then when you go back and refine that all this,
I certainly couldn't do a better job than these guys.
I could, but
give it a little practice. So, okay, Soundwave, always the micromanager. He steps into the scene. He releases his tapes into the sky to take care of the whole communication issue. In order: Rumble, Frenzy, Ravage, Ratbat. I guess Laserbeak was on break or something.
Why isn't he or Buzzsaw in the movie? I loved Laser. I guess maybe I don't know, because he made his appearance early, and then it's like, never mind.
Well, up until this point in G1 lore, we hadn't met Ratbat yet.
I was going to ask if this is the first appearance of Ratbat, which in the I'll talk about. I mean, in the script they describe him, so I'm like, well, it must have been the first appearance, like as a vampire bat-like creature is what they describe him as.
I'm about 95% sure that you hadn't seen it, with the exception, unless we want to count Scramble City, because he's certainly in Scramble City. Let's not revisit that moment. But but this is his first appearance, and so I don't know. I've got a few things to say about Ratbat in that. First of all, Laserbeak is a way better character, at least on the animated show. According to the toy tech specs, he's a fuel scout. And yeah, to your point earlier, he does have, I guess, vampire bat-like qualities. He'll suck the fuel out of people. That's like his thing. But in the Marvel Universe, he had an expanded role, which included becoming the leader of the Decepticons on Earth. He was ultimately killed by Scorponok, but in the cartoon, I don't really know his role. Is he kind of a scout spy?
It's basically just this. It's real weirdly ill-defined. He doesn't do a lot in the cartoon at all following the movie, if I recall correctly. Yeah,
that's how basically he did Laserbeak's role, but Laserbeak's arguably cooler in every way. Cooler. So really, he's worth listening. His real role is to buy more tapes for Soundwave.
Also, just as a little side note of all 4 tapes come out of Soundwave, which is some more of the questionable of mass changing. The Transformers change in mass and size randomly. I'm not too. That doesn't weird me out too much of having 4 tapes in it.
Right, and it happened in the cartoon.
Yeah, and so I think what we're getting ready to talk about is the coloring issue.
So I know Ryan is familiar with this because we talked a little bit about it before the show. But Caleb, are you familiar with the the Frenzy is red, Rumble is blue controversy?
It's on fire on the internet.
It's a big deal.
It's a thing.
So we're gonna get into heated territory, and it's been covered a million times. So we're not really gonna get that crazy into it. But I feel like because this movie kind of contributes to the controversy, we have to at least cover it from that perspective.
But for the listeners' sake, I am completely oblivious to any of this.
If any listener isn't familiar, basically the heated conversation is Rumble the red guy or is Frenzy the red guy?
And why is this a controversy?
Because in different media, Rumble is red, and in other media, Rumble is blue. And as far as the animated cartoon goes, typically he's blue. Rumble is the blue guy. And but in most other media, the comics, other games, books, the toy, Rumble is red. And so
I didn't know about any of this before starting this review.
There's it's a somewhat tongue-in-cheek argument, but there are people who do get incredibly passionate about it.
Very similar to the Han shot first.
I'd say it's on par. Sure, why not? We'll go with that. I feel like that might be a more angry one. I don't know.
I'm sure it's a bigger one.
Right. Yeah. But
no less important.
But at any rate, so I like to think that this movie would settle the issue, but to me, it muddies it even more.
Why?
So okay. Soundwave says in this order: Rumble, Frenzy, Ravage, Ratbat. And when he opens his chest, so the blue guy comes out first. Rumble. All right. Okay. Now if you got to look at this frame by frame, but you can see. Did you see?
It was blue and then turned red.
So when Frenzy comes out, it was blue for half a second, and then they turned it red.
And there's a lot
as he's flying out there.
There's a lot of this in this scene coming up too, and I'm like, are you just switching colorers? How do you make this mistake frame by frame?
So that's part one, is that as they're coming out of his chest, the color switches.
Yes.
But then as they're flying and
They're both
transferring, they're
red.
both red.
And this is at 1524.
So at 1524, as the tapes are flying through the air,
I love it.
They're both red.
This is the real problem with having characters who are physically identical, is you're going to have animators who fuck shit up. Like, the Seekers are miscolored all the time.
I love it.
So, and I think
But
those
then
are
they change colors again. He's
right. Well, the one in
It
the
changes
lead,
back.
which should have been Rumble in blue, the red guy was in the lead as they approach the tower.
Oh my
at
God.
1520.
Yeah, it's chaos.
So this show, this movie does nothing to solve the dilemma. But in fact,
That's
the show's own
wonderful.
production, the television's production Bible, stated that Rumble is supposed to be the red robot. And basically, there was an animation error, like very early on in the series, that they just basically swapped the
And they were like,
color
"Fuck it."
scheme forevermore.
Wow.
So,
and
yeah.
we'll get to it.
No, that's all I got.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there are a bunch more coloring errors. There's one that's coming up here where a Seeker flies by the window and is colored like Dirge, but has the wrong wings.
Does Rumble and Ravage both have the same
Rumble and
voice?
Frenzy.
Rumble and Frenzy, do they both have the same
Yeah,
voice?
basically, yeah. Basically, they're the same guy.
Yeah,
I
except
mean,
it's again like Buzzsaw and Laserbeak. Frenzy is used a lot less.
What's the accent? He's got like a kind of like a
No
is it like-
fair. It's like
he's
a
like
Brooklyn. Yeah.
like he's like a street.
Yeah.
He's real street.
street thug and
Kind of like
Brooklyn.
Cliff Jumper.
It's like, yeah.
Voiced by both voiced by Frank Welker. They both have not stupid. They both have pile driver arms.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
They're basically
I
the
love that.
same dude. But anyway, so the tapes fly to the tower to disrupt the transmission. They tear off the satellite dish. And then the blue one, whichever one we decide that is.
I still want it to be Rumble.
Well, we'll call it Rumble because we are in the cartoon universe.
Mm-hmm.
So Rumble smashes through the glass.
First we crack the shell, then we crack the nuts inside.
They fly into the crow's nest.
It's like Mafia.
And
Yeah, a little bit.
Also, okay, sorry, just to go back to Ratbat again for half a second.
Why do his wings flap?
He doesn't. So here they're at the tower. They're getting ready to tear that off. He does nothing. I mean, I've got it. What can he do but sit there and just wait? It's just funny to watch him just float there
Yeah.
and do nothing. So crack it down.
This
He's
is not
just doing
really
nothing.
This is not really. Oh, go ahead.
And they fly in. They're attacking Perceptor. You see this attack going down, and again, he's just a little in his
kind of in
face,
his face,
I guess,
yeah.
but mostly he's doing nothing.
Here's where the Autobots made another critical mistake with designing this thing. They were smart enough to build a backup door. They did not build a backup satellite dish that would pop up in the place of the one that these guys just tore out.
Or have multiple
Redundant
satellite dishes.
systems, yeah. And this is not really a deviation, but in the first draft, and this is an example of how you're just banging stuff out, and you don't want to. It's not fully fleshed out. Where he says, first we crack the shell, then we crack the nut inside. In the script, it says, first we crack the nut, then we crack the nut inside. That's the terrible line.
I'm glad that they worked that.
Like that makes none of the sense.
What does that mean? First we crack the shell of the nut, then we go inside and crack the nut.
I guess.
The meat of the
meat
nut.
of the nut.
And we're talking about a walnut,
And
something
we
that has
cut it
a
into peanut
strong
butter.
shell.
Okay. Or a Brazil nut. Those are really tough.
I've never cracked a Brazil nut.
It's tough.
All right. So I really like the sequence where Ravage takes a jump at Blaster, and Blaster
Oh yeah,
does a spin
roundhouse
kick and
kick.
knocks him
spin
away.
kick.
And then Blaster does something that up until now we only wished he did, because he never does this in season 1 or 2 of the cartoon. He releases tapes of his own that he has.
Are this the first time us seeing these tapes?
This is the first time
And they're not
seeing the
even
tapes.
named. But
Not in the movie. They
right.
are named in.
I had that guy, the Rhino, Rhinox, I think is his name. Is that right?
It is Ramhorn.
Ramhorn? What are we thinking
So
of?
the line-
Rhinox is from the Beastmaster. Or Beastmaster.
Cool.
What has happened?
So I didn't realize that at this point,
Beast Wars.
like, no one had ever seen him launch his own cassettes.
Well, yeah, his toy had been out a long time. It was clear that he was designed to carry cassettes because you could open up his chest cavity.
they didn't even manufacture tapes for him.
If they had, they hadn't distributed them in the United
Not yet,
States
yeah.
at this point.
Could you put Buzzsaw or Laserbeak
Yeah, sure.
inside it? Like it was compatible.
Or just a regular mini cassette if you were so inclined to do a foolish thing like that. So by this time, post movie, they had manufactured them and they were going to sell them. So Steeljaw the lion, Ramhorn the rhino, and then Eject, who is the bluer of the
there's a
two
bunch
humanoids.
of fuck ups here. They change color
a couple of times.
A couple of times.
I think into the next minute. they do
Rewind
that,
and eject,
actually.
yeah.
But
Like
I think-
there he would turn black, and now he's black and he's going to turn blue.
Same issue as with Soundwave earlier, when the final tape, the black one, Rewind comes out. He was blue for a quarter of a second before he transformed, and then he was colored black. So he releases his tapes, and that is really where the minute ends, fellas. That's
This is not. This is apropos nothing, and I can't remember if I said this in another episode. We talked earlier about why they went for a PG rating. Did we ever? Because I did find out why.
we did cover that.
versus a
Go
G
on,
rating?
go on. You might explain it more articulately.
Because they had a G rating and they wanted it to be PG because in theaters G movies were they had much fewer showings per day and they were earlier in the day, so they went for the PG. They just added shit to get the PG rating and then cut it out of the VHS.
Okay, that's a different reason. I said they did it to attract a wider audience than just kids, but
Well, they wanted to attract a wider audience.
That's true, but
They
they
had
also
to-
wanted
But
more
that was
showings.
okay, so
The strategy-
technically that was
Yeah,
the,
so you're right.
the
They
ultimate
just-
reason.
they just had
through
this-
more of a higher volume of
Yes.
showings.
That's right.
Okay, so hey, we're at the post-show segment, guys. I'd actually do, even though this is a cheat.
All right.
A big cheat. I do have a voice actor to discuss, and it's kind of an interesting
How
one.
are you cheating?
Because this character does not speak in the movie.
All right.
But he is on screen, so I'm going to talk about
All
him.
right.
And that is the voice of Rewind, which is the black-colored tape of blasters, most generally black. And Eject, for one, I don't believe ever spoke on the movie or on the television show. There's no voice credit for him anywhere that I can find. But Rewind did in season 3, and that actor's name is Townsend Coleman. And I just want to share this because there's a couple of really interesting credits that he has to me. But so of all the actors, he has a ton of credits. Rewind was his only significant Transformer credit. He did have one other one, but it was like a one-off thing. But he was on Animaniacs, Cat Dog, Darkwing Duck, Fern Gully, The Movie, Fraggle Rock, Inspector Gadget, Jim and the Holograms, Powerpuff Girls, Pokemon Tiny Toon Adventures. Wow. But what I'm really excited to talk about is two things. He was the voice of Michelangelo in our
Radical!
Mutant Ninja Turtles. I did.
Pizza time.
Cowabunga!
There we go. We got them all.
Thank you. But I think I'm even more excited to tell you that he was the voice of the Tick on Tick animated series.
Really?
Yeah.
Spoon.
I'm doing laundry.
I'll call you Speak, because that's what you do.
I don't understand your crazy moon language.
I think we fit all the quotes
Wow,
in.
yeah,
That's
we
a
did.
good job, guys.
Okay, so tune in after
our-
this for a Tick.
Our sister podcast.
Tickcast.
Tickcast.
We call it
Talking tick.
Lyme
TikTok.
disease.
That's right.
TikTok.
That's the subtitle. TikTok. That's good.
Copyright. We copyright that.
And hey,
Nobody take that.
ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for...
TikTok.
Okay, so when he says TikTok,
We
put in
Script deviations.
the script
deviations.
deviations thing. No, you didn't expect it. Script notes and deviations. So here, I have one extra line. Maybe if you've got it, I want you to do it. During the tape break-in sequence, Blaster has an additional line. Do you have that in your notes by any chance?
We got cassette critters knocking on a window.
Yeah, that's the...
That's weird.
It's an additional line. Also, my favorite thing is that during the fight, when he releases his tapes, do you know about this?
I don't know.
He spews out 4 tapes that are not anything like the tapes that we have on screen. So
Well, yeah.
what we had were Steeljaw the Lion, Ramhorn the Rhino, and then Eject and Rewind the 2 guys. So during the fight, in my version, he spews out Cubby, a lion, Stripes, a tiger, Stinger, a scorpion, and Bolts, which is a small, tough robot.
Yeah, these are terrible names.
And so...
But also bolts. Plural? His name's plural? Why?
On bolts.
Maybe he fires bolts.
Yeah.
Got these bolts.
Cubby, come on. That is
Cute little cubby.
so adorable.
So where Ravage and Laserbeak were fortunate enough to have a dedicated vocal performer Steeljaw, who became Cubby. Cubby is the only... Let me just back up.
Yep.
Cubby is the only one that actually became what happened, the lion form. The other forms were not incorporated at all and are essentially just lost characters, although... Stripes does have toys. In fact, he's probably one of the most obscure characters to have a toy.
Really?
But the rest of them were not ever produced.
Stripes.
And then the only other note I have is that Ravage and Laserbeak, so Frank Welker did both of their voices. They had a dedicated performer. But Steeljaw's noises were mostly library sound effects of growling, hissing cats and metallic ronk sounds. That's from the TF Wiki.
That is awesome.
So that's all I've got. You got any other script deviations?
No, I've got a bunch in the next minute, but that's it for now.
Interesting, because I do not.
They have their whole scenes that are not in the movie in the next minute.
Oh, I can't wait.
Awesome.
I love the script deviations.
Well, so next episode we've got that. I know I said it last time, but the tapes, we don't really see them do battle yet, but they will in the next episode. We're also going to see, unfortunately, Robo corpses.
That's right. Yeah, there's some corpses.
And the gang reunites.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say about that.
Well, I mean, Megatron's making his big push.
So listen to the show, team. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. Follow us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All of them at the handle at APODcast. And please visit our web presence at AutopoDecepticast.com. iTunes users, please rate and subscribe.
5 stars, please. Thank you.
We're 4.75.
Nope.
If you really
No, 5.
Okay, all right.
All or nothing.
Thanks, everybody.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay, now while they're gone, we get a little alone time. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call Transformers After Dark, where it's all blue all the time. Fuck. I have my own show, and I can talk about whatever I want to. I'll talk about fingering for a half hour if I want to, and Caleb can't say shit. That's right, I'm starting a flame war with my co-host. Oh, ladies, do you enjoy the velvety tones of my After Dark voice? Oh, yeah, you feel those vibrations, that bass-like pulses into your vulva. Oh. No, I haven't talked about Transformers at all, but who knows how it's gonna go on Transformers After Dark. This is just the premiere episode. Episode 0, maybe. The origin story of Transformers After Dark. We're gonna get into some sweet Transformer on Transformer action. Oh, is there gonna be human on Transformer action? I don't know. There may be. There are no rules here, just right. Yeah. Maybe sometimes I'll reference old commercials. Who knows what's gonna happen? It's a free-for-all here in the Transformers After Dark zone. Ooh-wee. Let's see. Maybe we'll get some call-in guests, some listeners, ladies, gentlemen. I'm taking all comers. That's right. We don't discriminate here. I mean, anything can happen, and probably will on Transformers After Dark. Oh, shit. Okay, we're going to take a little break here, a little pause for the old cause with some sweet commercial action from our sponsors.